live on a Zoom. Um, so we're starting, we finished the psychotherapy pamphlet, and so now we're ready to go into, let me stop this, go into the Song of Prayer, which I think really honestly, uh, prayer right now is, I think, really, really essential for us. I think that uh, the state that the world seems to be in, the state that our, what we believe is happening around us, um, we really need to remember what prayer is all about. And so, does anybody have anything they'd like to share before we get started with our text?
I just wanted to share really quick about the Song of Prayer. I remember Ken saying that the Song of Prayer began as a series of messages to Helen on prayer. It was a series of messages, and then she decided to make it into part of these supplements. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
That is pretty interesting. And I think, you know, uh, we all, have an idea about what prayer is. And prayer is really our constant communication with our source. And so that it's a to and from thing. So being aware of it, and keeping it just going is um is essential to our sanity. It's essential to our lives. So I'm really, really grateful that we get a chance to talk about this. And hey, Vishnu, um, good to see everybody here this evening.
Can I just say, Rico is having a hard time getting in. I sent him the link twice, but he's not here. Maybe you can send it to him.
Sure, maybe he even sent me a message because and I didn't notice it because
I sent it twice.
great. Let's see.
I love this. You can talk, you can cross talk. I love it. You can read poetry. I was yeah, we know which groups are for us.
That is so true. Yes, we do. Can't I think we're all very, very, very lucky to have each other. And that's, to me, the most important thing, is that um, everyone loves each other, and they're so dedicated, and want to see each other and want to be with each other. And that's, to me, uh, if all we did was talk about the weather, we would still have a wonderful time every time. Rafi has his hand up. Go ahead, Rafi.
In regard to prayer, before I got involved metaphysically, spiritually, I was kind of anti-prayer, because I'm saying, who are you praying to? You're praying to somebody. You're praying to an entity that you think is separate from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got involved, it turned around 180 degrees when I realized there is no separation. So what you're praying to is the you that is the reality of you, which is our God consciousness. So it was just, whoa, what an awakening that was.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference, because I got to say, I was the same way, Rafi. I was like, why talk to God? God is right here. I'm talking to somebody who's, like, I was having a conversation with somebody that wasn't here. And I was asking somebody, I was hoping that somebody who wasn't here was going to hear me and, um, you know, listen or respond. Uh, but that's not what it is at all. It's not talking to somebody who's not here. It really is. It really is talking to the divine that we are. And so, yeah, it makes a huge difference. Because yeah, I used to be opposed to prayer of all times. So like, well, why would I pray? Um, doesn't God already know everything? Um, and he does. So I just emailed Rico that link also. So hopefully he'll be able to get in. So anyways,
Well, I told him, well, I sent it twice and I told him you just sent it. So hopefully, it'll be good.
good. Good, good, good. All right. So well, let's take a look at our uh song of prayer. And we can just start with the first paragraph. Who would like to read the
Okay.
introduction?
Okay.
Okay.
But you just made the top of it go away.
Okay. All right. I just,
Oh, prayer. Oh, yeah. Couldn't be more obvious.
yeah, so I'm just
Introduction.
moving it so you can read the whole thing.
Beautiful. Prayer is the greatest gift with which God blessed his son at his creation. It was then what it is to become. The single voice creator and creation share the song the Son sings to the Father, who returns the thanks it offers him unto the Son. There it is. It's so obvious. Endless the harmony, and endless too the joyous concord of the love they give forever to each other. And in this, creation is extended. God gives thanks to his extension in his Son. His Son gives thanks for his creation in the song of his creating in his Father's name. The love they share is what all prayer will be throughout eternity when time is done, for such it was before time seemed to be. There it is. That's the unity we are. That's the divine unity we really are.
Yeah, and it's beautiful talking about it as a song that we're just singing to each other and with each other. The song the Son sings to the Father, who returns the thanks it offers him unto the Son. So we're endlessly harmonizing, endlessly singing this joyous song. What a beautiful uh, uh, expression. And really thinking about it, music is something that everyone loves. Not everybody loves every kind of music. There's some kind of music that I'm not real keen on, but everybody loves music of some type. I don't know if I've ever met anyone who didn't like music at all, because music is that original voice of our communion with God. So, what a beautiful way to just express it. Lynn, Brooklyn, go ahead.
Namaste, mighty companions. I'm glad you got in, Rico. Music surpasses space and time. I know I can be in 1968 if I hear a certain song. I know exactly where I was at the time. And yeah, um, I'm paraphrasing, but Jesus saves the love for us. I don't know the exact words, but the love comes through music, like for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's a song of just giving thanks,
Mhm.
gratitude. So beautiful. Karen, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Brooklyn. Thank you, Rafi, for reading. Yeah, I love what you said, the expression. It's an expression, it's a beautiful expression of love, based on what you both just shared. It's a beautiful, and it reminds me of I'm going into the what is creation in the workbook. All extensions of love. Our creations are extensions of love, and this is it's almost identical to what is creation, what he talks about, and he talks about throughout the course that love is extension. and that we create with our Father, we co-create with our Father, and it's extending love, and it's forever, it's eternal. He's telling us endless the harmony, and endless too the joy is conquered of the love they give forever to each other. So this is the oneness. This is, I guess, the oneness joined as one that he talks about in the course, that the eternal being of who we are. Like, I can't put it into words. It's so beautiful, but it's just reaffirming what we're learning through the course, what true prayer is. It's absolutely beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you everyone who's sharing. Anybody else have anything? Let's see. Brooklyn, do you still have your hand up, or have it again?
No, I have it up again.
Okay.
Music is our creations. Yeah, art, poetry. It's our creations, all in love.
Yes, yes. And poetry is it's the same thing. Everything we do that is it's all a symphony, all of it. Rafi, please go ahead.
You remember the other day when you said we are all expressions of God's divine love?
Yes.
Okay. That's been ringing in my head for the last 3 or 4 days. I make sure I stay with that. Creativity, music, poetry, doesn't matter what the creative aspect is. You cannot do that and think at the same time. They're two separate entities. So if you're in a creative situation, the mind is quiet. The thinking mind is quiet. The ego thinking mind is quiet. And that's an important aspect a lot of people don't understand. Of course, when I write, when I sing, when I act, it doesn't matter what what creativity I'm pursuing at the moment, the mind is always quiet. If it starts to act up, it's gonna interfere, and I just let it I get it out, or me out of the way, and just let it flow. And that is that same divine expression that you spoke of a couple of days ago.
That's it. That's it. And it's how it's a way of just giving. And it is a way of just opening and allowing it to flow exactly as you said. And that's and you can't do anything else when you're doing it. You're right. I love that. I think that's beautiful. It just
Can't dance and think at the same time.
cuts the mind right off. Yeah, it cuts the mind right off. Glorian, please go ahead.
Oh, I love what everyone's sharing. As I was listening to all of you, it was coming to me that this paragraph really sums up the miracle, that shift from fear to the acceptance of the love that we are. Prayer, being communion with God, I and the Father are one, is the greatest gift with which God blessed his Son at creation. Creation is love, and that's what we were created at in the beginning. It was then what it is to become the one singular reality, the singular voice, creator and creation share. So the love and the love's extension are one. The song the Son sings to the Father. So he offers this song, this gratitude, this harmony, this love, who returns the thanks it offers him unto the Son. So it's just about complete oneness, extension, nothing broken, nothing separated, the one beingness. Endless the harmony, and endless too the joyous concord of the love they give forever to each other. And what is joy but accepting what we are in truth? Endless harmony it offers us because there is no death. The Son of God is free in his true reality. So joy is conquered of the love they give forever to each other without end. And in this, creation is extended. So love accepted is then extended to bless. Go forth, make no demands. God gives thanks, gratitude to his extension in his Son. His Son gives thanks for his creation. So then again, there he's pointing to that, the oneness the holiness, in the song of his creating, in his Father's name. So there is nothing other than the Father. So if of creation is the extension of love, and anything that we may make is from the ego. So then the song, the gratitude, the love, the harmony of his creating love in his Father's name. The love that they share is what all prayer will be throughout eternity when time is done. For such it was before time seemed to be. And that to me is that shift from fear to love, which is the miracle where we accept what we truly are. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gloria. And wow. Yes, exactly. That was beautiful the way that you broke that down. And yes, I mean that we are, it is our creations. And we don't even know it because we experience it as being something else. So this is beautiful to just know that it can be something beyond what has been our normal experience of prayer. Uh, Rafi, please go ahead.
If you want a perfect example of God's love being expressed in joy, watch a child skip. Okay, they could walk, they could be running, but they skip. And that skipping is pure joy, and that's an expression of God's love, and that's that creative presence that's always there. It seems innocuous, but it's definitely and emphatically true.
Absolutely, absolutely. And anytime you can do it yourself if you can skip. I
I
just
still do from time to time.
yeah, me too. And you know what? It's good for you. It's good for you to just free and be without being worried about what other people are thinking. That definitely is my point of view anyway. Thank you, Rafi. Anybody else have anything before we move on? I love this. Let's see what's in the chat. All right. Here we go. All right. So paragraph 2. Who wants to read paragraph 2? Brooklyn, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say a long time ago, John Monday and I were on retreat, and this is a very long time ago, very, very long time. And we were supposed to stay silent for 2 hours. And so we're walking around, and John and I see each other, we hug, and then we start skipping. So a retreat many years later, I reminded him about that. So he started skipping, and I couldn't skip anymore. But oh well,
I'll tell you what, that John Monday, he was in Scotland with us. And we went walking, and he just could have kept going more and more and more and more. For me, I was like half dead, but I realize now because I had COVID. But he was just, I'm amazed. He's so energetic.
he
He was
swims.
really fit.
He swims. He does yoga. He's very active.
Very active, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but how do you skip it? Well, maybe next time. Okay.
Next time. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
To you who are in time a little while, prayer takes the form that best will suit your need. You have but one. What God created one must recognize its oneness and rejoice that what illusions seem to separate is one forever in the mind of God. Prayer now must be the means by which God's Son leads separate goals and separate interests by and turns in holy gladness to the truth of union in his Father and himself. When I pray, I say thank you and thy will be done. Our will is one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to remind myself who's in charge at times.
Yeah, that is true. So what is it? What are the forms that best suit our needs? Yes, thy will be done, our will is one. That's a great prayer. Sometimes um prayer might just be um I love you, or I'm open to receive whatever it is that you're willing to give, or whatever it is. Um, what kinds of forms of prayer do we experience? Yeah, thank you is really a good one. I think thank you is probably my most offered prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I say that all the time for everything. It seems like it's just a natural thing to come out. Uh, so that's a good one for me. Anybody else have any thoughts about what's the form of prayer that is uh, prayer must be the means by which God's Son leaves separate goals and separate interests by and turns in holy gladness to the truth of union in his Father and himself. Yeah, it's that connection. Karen, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. What Dove just said, acceptance, accepting everything as it is. But yeah, thank you is a really big one for me because I say thank you all the time because I know for me, if I don't say thank you, I can go into ego really quickly. I can start to analyze and I can start to, you know, believe that this body is really real and really the cause of things. And so when, the way it is now for me when I get up, like I have to put my sleeve on and use my cane before I can even start to walk. And rather than get upset or anything, I just say thank you. Thank you because I have my cane right there, my sleeves right there. I can do it myself. I don't need assistance. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because I'm grateful for everything. And I know this is all temporary. So to you who are in time a little while, prayer takes the form that will best suit your need. And I know that this everything here is temporary. So the best prayer for me is just to be grateful for everything because that's what I'm learning here. We're here to be grateful for everything, and that's why he says that have full appreciation for your brother. Your brother is your savior. Your brother is your um, everything because I'm reflecting everything. And I love what Rafi shared about the baby, about the child skipping because I thought about my granddaughter she comes to visit me on Sunday with my great granddaughter. She's coming again this Sunday, and I can't wait because that's so much joy. There's so much joy in this little bundle of energy. That she doesn't skip yet. She's too small, but she'll laugh and she'll shake her little hands and her little feet, and just like that's her expression. That's her expression of love because she can't really talk or walk. So she's just so full of love. And it's the energy that's just so beautiful. It's just so much gratitude. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, and little ones like that, they don't know not to be. They don't know not to be happy. It doesn't occur to them that there's any reason not to be happy, even when they're miserable, even when they're sick. I've had it when kids have just been like desperately ill, and yet still smiling and laughing, because yeah, Sharonda says being present is prayer. Yeah, because they are present. That is beautiful. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love what everyone's sharing. And I like what Karen said about gratitude. And Jesus tells us that gratitude is the highest form of prayer. And it's the highest form of prayer because it's the recognition of what I am and what my brother is. And in that is complete equality and oneness. And he tells us here, to you who are in time a little while, just recognizing that this is temporary and this is not our home. Prayer, oneness with God, takes the form that will best suit your need. But here he tells us we only have one need. There's only one problem, and the problem has been solved, and that is accepting of what we are. I and the Father are one. I am one self, united with my Creator. What God created, one must recognize. What God created, one must recognize its oneness, equality, sinlessness, the guiltlessness of all, and rejoice that what illusions seem to separate is one forever in the mind of God. So this recognition that this is not our reality, the fear that we have is just the belief in separation, but nothing can ever change how we were created in this love and this extension of God. Prayer now must be the means by which God's sons leave separate goals and separate interests by and turns in holy gladness to the truth of union in his Father and himself. So he's asking us here to recognize prayer as the means by which we leave separated goals, the ego's teaching, the belief in good and evil, the mental realm of perception, and which are the separate interests, which project the separate interests, and turn in holy gladness, the gratitude for the oneness of what we are, to the truth of union in his Father and himself. And that recognition that God is all. God is expressing as, and it's all God. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gloria. And yes, yes, yes. And how do we leave those separate goals and separate interests? How do we let go of them? Because, it seems like in this world, the way it is, that you have to be so protective of your interests and your goals. And the fact is that I don't have a goal or interest that's different than my brother's. My goal and my interest is the same thing. The means and method, those are the things that we argue about, but everybody wants peace. Everybody wants peace. It doesn't matter how they decide they want to get it or think they can get it. The means is not the thing to be concerned about. Recognizing that we all want the same thing, that's what really brings about the peace, is deciding not to argue anymore, not to be afraid anymore, not to imagine that my brother wants something different than I want, because they don't. It's impossible. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, there's no way you can put a value on gratitude and say, well, that's all it is. It's impossible, because of the power of gratitude. And I do it every morning, and I every night, make sure. But the go-to prayer after I do all the gratitude things is always, make us realize our oneness with thee. To me, that prayer is the capper to everything else, all the other prayers. That and the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi are the two that I go to. Those are my go-tos every single day, more than once. And this other thing about setting goals. Setting goals is great. We even have programs in the release technique on how to set goals, and then what to do with all the stuff that comes up between you and having the goal. When you release all of that stuff, the goal becomes meaningless. And you're at peace because you've gone back to that, make us realize our oneness with thee. And then it happens. And as it happens, it's like entertainment. Oh, good, I got that. That's nice. But the more that we are how can I say it, actualized with our union, our oneness with the truth of being, that can't be, that can only be, there's only one priority, and that is it. It's the only purpose there is. And everything else is nice that comes along. Several of the masters have said, when you're focused on the truth, and that's the only thing, you become better at everything. Your relationships become better, your health becomes better, your finances become better, your hit, all that stuff is secondary. It's just add-ons, because your priority is make us realize our oneness with thee.
Beautiful, Rafi. That is so, so very true. So, so very true. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Karen.
Thank you, Rafi. Thank you, Gloria. And thank you, Lynn. Such beautiful, beautiful sharing. And Lynn, what you said about arguing, you said there would be no arguing. And what came to me is where the Course says all attack is self-attack, and it stems from a decision not to be what you are. So we're here to really remember the truth of who we are. And, when he says you have but one, God created one, must recognize his oneness and rejoice that what illusions now must be the means by which God's Son leaves separate goals and separate interests by and turns in holy gladness to the truth of union in his Father and himself. This is like just remembering that why would I want to attack my brother? What, like we talked about that earlier today, we're saying, I can't hate anymore. I can't blame anymore. I just can't do it. It's just, when what Rafi said is so true. When you remember the truth, you see your brother as yourself. You don't, you get along, your relationships are better. You're in the present moment. You're in the holy instant much, much more. You're not thinking about the past. You're not worrying about the future. You're being in the present moment with your brother and being fully aware of the truth, because there's nothing else. Truth is true. And what came to me is in lesson 100, which is my part is essential in God's plan for salvation. He says, just as God's Son completes his Father, so your part in it completes your Father's plan. Salvation must reverse the mad belief in separate thoughts and separate bodies, which lead separate lives and go their separate ways. One function shared by separate minds unites them in one purpose, for each one of them is equally essential to them all. So this is remembering for me that, we're here, we have the same interests. And when we see that we have the same interests, we have nothing that, like you said, there's nothing to argue about. There's no conflict, and this is the peace that we all want, the peace that we all talk about, that we really want. So this is just so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Yes. And yeah, I mean, that's just, recognizing that if I could just remember that all the time, every, whatever scary or crazy or wild things seems to be being shown to me, or appearing in the world, if I could just remember that, that no, nothing separate here. Nothing separate here. There is no reason to fear. There is nothing to fear. That's just it. There's nothing to fear. Anybody else? Brooklyn, did you have your hand up?
Thank you, everybody. Wow. Before I start my yoga, I dedicated to, the devotion and connection and total love, total gratitude, total trust, and total self. And I think I got it. And yeah, it's all about totality, total self.
That's it.
Someone was detected at your front door.
Oops, there's someone at my front door. Probably a cat. We have a game here. Cat, Sandy, or grasshopper. It could be anything. Uh, Rico, hey, welcome, brother. Good to see you. Please go ahead.
Friends, thank you for letting me be here with you. I send you love and light from my heart to yours. You know, good to be able to get in. I was lost in space for a while. You know, my friend Karen reminded me, she was talking about getting out of bed, you know, and the power of prayer. You know, after my surgery for about 2.5 months, I was in like severe pain. I went from severe pain to deep discomfort. Those were the parameters of what I was experiencing. And the pills, nothing. The only thing that alleviated some of my pain, which was to make it a little bit less, was I'd say, thank you, Father. Thank you for letting me get off that ice cold gurney and still be breathing. Thy will be done in that mind. That is the only thing that helped some of my pain subside. Nothing else worked. And I would stop and say that. And the pain wouldn't leave, but it would subside. And I started realizing the power of prayer when it's from your heart, not from your lips. And thank you, Karen, for reminding me of how grateful I need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Rico. Wow. Yes, isn't that something too? You know, these bodies put us through some stuff, and it's always, something so interesting. And I was talking about, when I was in Scotland, and it ended up that I had COVID and was it's so miserable and in so much pain. I was aching all over, and all the, we were just, as I mentioned, walking, walking in the rain and the cold, and the cobblestones. Everything was just making my hips felt like they were just, it just, everything was hurting all over. And but you know that I was so happy, and having such a good time with John and Sandy. And I mean, there was, just a small little group of us together. And I mean, my body was like saying, just stop and lay down here on the ground and die, okay? Because because I can't do this anymore. But my mind was like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm in Scotland with all these beautiful souls, and we're having a wonderful time. It's so funny. It was like I was two different people at the same time, completely. Um, but I don't even know what my point is, other than it didn't matter what condition I was in, my body was in. I was just so joyful, just so very joyful. And because I was with with mighty companions, I was with people who were just so filled with light. And it was so funny, because everywhere we went, we talked to people, and everybody was so happy to see us, and so joyful to be around us. And it is just so weird to be feeling on one level miserable, and on the other level ecstatic. It was like, it doesn't even make sense, because I was completely like I was in two different places at the same time. And that could have been, I was probably hallucinating because of the COVID. That that could be too. Whatever it was, I don't care. It was still a wonderful, wonderful thing. Karen, please go ahead.
Thank you for sharing that. I could totally relate to that. I felt the same exact thing when I went down the shore with my friends, right like soon before my spine surgery, when I was in a lot of pain. I almost didn't go, and I ended up going anyway and had that same experience. And it was more so like, thank you for these friends. Thank you for this experience. And thank you for reminding me I am not this body. This is not who I am. This is not going to stop me. And that's what made me go, because I knew the truth of who I am. I'm not this body. And then the other thing I wanted to thank Rico, and I wanted to add to what about true prayer, that, true prayer, what we're learning here is it's recognizing that we really have no needs. Needs is a form of the scarcity principle, thinking the scarcity principle, which makes separation seem real. If we think that we have a need, like something outside of us, then we're believing in separation, and we're making it real. So that just what it does for me is continually, Rico, what I'm going through, and I know recovering takes a while, but it's just reminding me over and over that I am not this body. And it doesn't matter what my body goes through, it can never change the truth of who I am. And I can always be at peace regardless of what my body's going through. And I can always be thankful. And the more thankful I am, the better that my outcome of the experience is. Like I just, everything seems to just go smoother all the way around in every form. So having and being are the same, the Course teaches us. We already have everything. We are everything. So yeah, I'm just filled with gratitude right now. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. I mean, just your story just boosts me even more. It's like, this is why we are together, this group, these people together. I'm just so grateful. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rico, and thank you everyone who's sharing. This is great. So let's look at paragraph 3. This is the just paragraph 3 here in the introduction to the Song of Prayer. And I think I'm maybe, if y'all don't mind, maybe going to end at the top of the hour. Just I'm still a little needing rest. But it makes me so happy to be with you guys that I forget, how I actually am feeling. But I did get a prescription for that Paxlovid, so Sandy just went to pick it up, and I'm gonna take some tonight, and I know I'll feel better tomorrow for sure. So let's look at paragraph 3. Who wants to read paragraph 3? This is so beautiful.
Since it's beautiful, I'll take it.
Thank you,
I
sir.
like beautiful.
I was hoping you would.
I like beautiful. Lay down your dreams, you holy Son of God, and rising up as God created you, dispense with idols and remember him. Prayer will sustain you now and bless you as you lift your heart to him in rising song that reaches high and then higher still, until both high and low have disappeared. Wow. Faith in your goal will grow and hold you up as you ascend the shining stairway to the lawns of heaven and the gate of peace. For this is prayer, and here salvation is. This is the way. It is God's gift to you. Wow, you were right. That is beautiful. I like the beginning. Lay down your dreams, you holy Son of God, reminding me who I am, and rising up as God created you. So my goal is to be, I think the goal for today was God is the only goal I have today. So this is like quite in line with that in terms of reminders, because I forget all the time who and what I am. And when I get into that space where I am the Holy Son of God, then the idols, they disappear. This says dispense with idols. I don't have to dispense with them. They just disappear when I get in that state. Prayer will sustain you. I am definitely a believer in prayer. But since I've met Karen and Miss Gloria Ann and Joel Goldsmith, my prayer life is changing a little bit. And I experience a little difficulty with it because I'm used to praying out into this external world. and they teach me how to pray to the internal, the spiritual space. So it's like I'm stuttering in my prayer, if you will. But prayer will now and bless you as you lift your heart to Him. You know, I've noticed sometimes I'm talking to God with my lips, but I could tell when I'm talking to God from my heart. And if I lift my heart to Him in the rising song that reaches higher and then still higher, I've experienced that until both high and low have disappeared. And it's just the oneness within us. So I'd like that. I've had a few experiences like that, far and few in between. I'd like to tell you it's like that every day, but it's not. But I'm still a work in progress. God ain't finished with me yet. Faith in your goal. I truly have faith in my goal. And it will grow and hold you up and ascend. I love this. The shining stairway to the lawns of heaven and the gate of peace. And I remember a long time ago, I heard that you don't have to wait to die to go to heaven. You can have heaven right here on earth, which I do sometimes interfacing with you guys. For this is prayer, and here salvation is. That is like a gunny sack full of hope for a guy like me. This is the way. It's God's gift to you. So just being here, God's already gifted me. I just need to realize and embrace those gifts and be grateful. So thank you for letting me be here with you guys. You know I love you, and I love your teachings and your sharing. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Rico. You lift me up, and just hearing you and knowing that we share this same love together. It just is so beautiful. You lift me up too. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all of you. My goodness. What what a lucky person I am. I swear to God. Glory, and please go ahead, and then Karen after that.
Thank you for that, Rico. Brother, that was simply beautiful. Thank you so much. Very uplifting. Jesus is saying here, lay down your dreams, your defense, your attack, your belief in separation, your duality thinking, good and evil, right and wrong. You, holy Son of God that's one, and rising up as God created you, raising our vibration, dispense with idols, temptations that keep us in fear, and remember Him. Remember, recognize, and accept. Acknowledge what we are. Prayer, communion with God will sustain you now and bless you, make no demands on you as you lift your heart to Him in rising song. Lift your heart, your soul to Him in rising song in thanksgiving that reaches higher and higher still until both high and low have disappeared. Higher and higher, our consciousness unfolding until we have moved into that space of the relinquishment of judgment. That's where fear disappears. Faith. Faith is knowing what we are in truth. That's the goal, to attain that faith, where faithlessness is the belief in the ego. Faith in your goal will grow and hold you up as you ascend the shining stairway to the lawns of heaven and the gate of peace. This is an experience from out of time. For this is prayer, communion with God. And here, salvation is my one self comes from knowing what I am. And the idea of I and the Father are one. This is the way. It is God's gift to you. This is the holy instant. I am one self united with my Creator. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gloria. And yes, it just it seems so simple, and we just need to remind ourselves of it all every day, all the time. And thank you again for that. Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, that was beautiful, Gloria and Enrico and everyone. Yeah, I just wanted to say I always think of Ken Wapnick because he always reminds me when I hear lawns of heaven, I remember he used to say that the lawns of heaven are the symbol of being in the real world. So this is the symbol of being in the real world, of letting go of everything, the opposite of everything that we thought we made, all of our dreams, all of our ideas of what we thought we were, and every dream of what we thought our brother was, it's just recognizing that we are one, and that, this is the gate of peace, that the only equals can be at peace, and seeing that this is where our salvation is. This is the way. And this is God's gift to us, to remember the truth of who we are. So beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And yeah, the lawns of heaven. I always think about that too. That's something that Rev Tony Ponticello is always talking about, the lawns of heaven. And it seems odd to me. That just seemed like an odd statement, actually, because, um, it's hard for me to think about lawns. It's like the cemetery is when I think about lawns and the gate of peace. I have this whole cemetery thing in my mind when I think about it. Brooklyn, please go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. It's so always so wonderful to be here. I wrote a poem today, in case you want to hear.
No, no poems. Please save me from poems. Yes, please.
I was at a meeting when I said I got a poem, and she said no, thank you. But anyway, that's okay. Who can want when all is given? Trust and flow, or doubt the way? Surrender to what cares for you. A birthday piece, a gift of presence. Did I invent doubt to pass through its vapor, cleansed by vision, known of itself? When forgotten, who feels the pain? A nod to call upon the sight. A mind that suffers is not who is. Be the love in all forms. Thank
Wow.
you.
Lovely.
Wow.
Hey, Lynn, I almost forgot. I have to sing a song to Brooklyn.
Please.
Cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños mi corazón, cumpleaños feliz y mucho más.
Ah, gracias.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness, cumpleaños feliz. I love that. Karen, please go ahead.
I love that, Rika. That was awesome. Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah, I just wanted to just go back to the lawns of heaven for a minute. So it's actually one, two, three, I think 4 times in the course. And I think it's twice in the Song of Prayer. But can I just read the one paragraph in chapter 31, section 8, where it's in chapter 31, section 8, and it's in lesson 194. But can I just read that one
Oh,
paragraph?
yes, please.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. So this is choose once again. It's the very last chapter, very last section, and it's paragraph 9. He says, let us be glad that we can walk the world and find so many chances to perceive another situation where God's gift can once again be recognized as ours. And thus will all the vestiges of hell, the secret sins and hidden hates be gone, and all the loveliness with which they concealed appear like lawns of heaven to our sight, to lift us up high above the thorny roads we traveled on before the Christ appeared. Hear me, my brothers, hear and join with me. God has ordained, I cannot call in vain, and in his certainty I rest content. for you will hear and you will choose again. And in this choice is everyone made free.
Wow, that is so beautiful. So beautiful. Um, it's interesting to me that I don't think I'm thinking um, I'm looking here in absence from Felicity, and because I'm thinking, what did lawns have to do with Helen? And there's 7 different references to lawns in the absence from Felicity, and uh, because I'm pretty sure that Helen was raised in the city in an apartment, and I doubt that she grew up with a lawn so much. It's just but there's a lot of talk about 4 times in the course, and uh I'm just wondering. I'm gonna have to look that up more and get a better understanding of why the lawn was so important to Helen. Um, because obviously now that I've been reading Absence from Felicity, I've been seeing how Jesus really was speaking to Helen throughout the whole thing, and using things that she loved and using things that she knew to help her understand what it was that he was offering her. And I think, yeah, there's a lot to it. Glorian has her hand up. Go ahead, Glorian, and then Karen.
Yeah, that is interesting. It was just coming to me, lawn, grass, garden, life. And the lawn leads to the house. So perhaps something with that. This is really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, but we can all take that into contemplation. Thanks.
Thank you, Glorian. Yeah, Karen, please go ahead.
Yeah, I like that, Glorian. I like that a lot. I was just thinking maybe when she was a child, maybe she did have a house with a lawn. Maybe when she was little, or maybe she has memories as a child of being maybe at a family house that had a lawn that she had memories of, maybe, I don't know. It's interesting though, very interesting.
Yeah, she had, I guess, visions. In the visions, there were lawns. So, maybe it just is interesting. It just is interesting because, you think about a lawn as, a cool place that is green, and, you lay down on the living grasses. I remember from Stranger in a Strange Land, that book, that when the main character first stepped barefoot on the lawn, and he was aware of the living grasses and how they felt touching him and how joyful they were, and it just it's a very interesting thing. Again, something I'm going to be looking into more. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, what you're saying on that. And it was coming to me that, she had dreams and visions, and perhaps it's something symbolic, the green grass of eternal life.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, interesting. Oh, you know what? Lewis's mother's home had a beautiful lawn. I'm just reading that. So maybe that's where maybe she wanted a lawn, living in an apartment in New York. Karen, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, the other place is in lesson 194. I place the future in the hands of God. And it's let's see, it's the first paragraph. And the third sentence, he says, your foot has reached the lawns that welcome you to heaven's gate, the quiet place of peace where you await with certainty the final step of God. How far are we progressing now from earth? How close are we approaching to our goal? How short the journey still to be pursued? So it's like almost like it gives you an idea that the journey's end is beautiful, that it's like that, the vision, like it sounds like a vision. It really does. It sounds like a vision of what the journey's end in her mind may have been. So
Yep.
beautiful. And Ken really, really talked about it. Like he had one class just on those specific 4 places on the lawns of heaven. So it was something, substantial to him. So it must have been substantial to Helen. Thanks.
Very interesting. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to go get some rest, and hopefully next week I'll be back up and running 100%. I'm just really, really
If
grateful
you're taking that stuff, Lynn, that I was on it. Did you ever take it before?
that Paxlovid. No,
Okay. You must not feel well if you're taking it.
yes, I have COVID.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying like they're giving it to you to prevent it from going on, right? Is that what they're doing?
Yes, yeah.
Because I had taken it, it didn't work. So then what happened was I got the booster, believe it or not. Do you remember I was sick for like a couple months?
I do remember that.
Yeah, you need rest, Lynn. You need a lot of rest.
Yeah, that's I'm a lot, I'm just usually very energetic, and I could use a nap all day.
You just feel better because you need to really rest. And don't worry, and I just want to say hello to Mick or McCallie. Yeah, she hasn't been here, so and Rico and Rafi and Brooklyn and Karen and everyone. And it's Brooklyn's birthday.
Yes,
You take care of yourself, Lynn. That's all we want.
I'm going to, believe me, that's exactly my plan. Rafi, please go ahead.
2 things. One, love your COVID. Love your body. Love your COVID. 2, get in touch with the divine light of being that is in you and within the body, not the body itself, but within the body that radiates through every cell, every corpuscle, every atom, every subatomic part. It's there. It's always there. And let that radiate through you because that's the divine presence that'll take care of everything. And love the COVID and love your COVID and love yourself because is there anything more powerful? Is there anything more true?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And then take a couple of extra hours tomorrow morning without getting on the mic. I'll take the 8:30, 9:30, and then Kerry comes on. So you have to show up until like 9 o'clock.
Well, I no, because I'll be awake. I can't help it, Dove. It's my nature. I'll get up and come in. Is Suzanne not going to be here tomorrow? Oh yeah, you guys are taking